Welcome to Master Stroke, the cricket chat show with the legendary cricketer, the little master Sunny Gavaskar, and the chief cricket writer of Gulf News, Sri K.R. Nair. As you have heard, KR has covered 8 World Cups, including 2 T20 World Cups, besides the Champions Trophy and the India-Pakistan series, both in India as well as in Pakistan. Welcome you to the show, sir.
Thank you, Suresh.
Welcome, Sunny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dear Sunny, welcome to Dubai. How important is Dubai in world cricket today?
But Dubai is where the ICC is headquartered. So Dubai is a place where a lot of important meetings take place. Meetings that decide on the laws, the playing conditions, the future tours, any disputes that can arise between countries, any hearings as regards code of conduct. So in that regard, Dubai is very, very important as far as international cricket is concerned.
Thank you. Dear KR, you have covered cricket all over the world. How do you see cricket growing in this part of the world?
Suresh, in UAE has the best of facilities, the state-of-art cricket stadiums and coaching, everything. But most of the players here are weekend cricketers, not W-E-E-K, not W-E-A-K, because they all are working and they do not have time to play. So what happens is they are all amateurs. So the extent of growth that this place can have is difficult. But there is one thing, because Pakistan cannot stage their matches there, they are able to, we can say great matches here, test matches, one-day internationals. So Sunil might agree, for the youngsters here, the best way to progress in cricket is to watch the game, watch the greats play. At least because there's an example of Waqar Younis. He was born here, he played as a young boy. He watched cricket from Sharjah Stadium and went on to become the fastest bowler in the world. So watching cricket, there is an opportunity here, and let us utilize the opportunities here.
Sunny, you've seen cricket from various angles. As a player, as a captain, as an ICC cricket manager, as a commentator, over the last several decades. How has cricket improved over time? Do you think some things would have been better off without a change?
No, I think change is constant. Change is constant in life. Change has to be there in sport as well. The basic, remains the same. It's a competition between bat and ball. So that hasn't changed. But I guess the approach has changed, the attitude has changed, the approach towards fitness has changed. We didn't have the kind of, support staff during the time that we played. Now the support staff which is there, actually there are dietitians, they have physical conditioners, they have physiotherapists, there are computer analysts. So all that has certainly made the game much more technical perhaps. And therefore I think you find that as far as athleticism is concerned, agility is concerned, fitness levels are concerned, they have progressed by leaps and bounds. And cricket therefore has become that much more attractive, that much more athletic.
KR, what are the difficulties the journalist encounters in overseas tours?
The first and foremost is the deadline, because the press is waiting, breathing down your neck to have your copy in, because if you're reporting from London, by the time the match gets over, it is the time for the print to press. And another thing is the security. When I go to Karachi, the cars are not allowed so I walk about 1 kilometer to reach there because they are fearing a car bomb or something going there. So we have problems we walk through. Then security checkup is tremendous. When we went to cover the Mohali semi-final World Cup, I had to open my laptop everywhere to convince that person it is a laptop. And every security check I had to go through. And in Delhi, once I was stopped by a police saying that I cannot take my pen inside. So I told him that my pen to me is like a lathi to you. So please allow me. And then the head of the police said, please, you can go in. So these are hassles which we face. But at the end of the day, an innings like Sunil used to play makes us happy. And then the best of writing through comes out.
Sunny, cricket is considered a gentleman's game. Is it still so? In the famous Golden Jubilee Test, Vishy recalled Bob Taylor. Was this decision taken after consulting the senior players? Did he or Team India ever regret this decision?
Well, Vishy has been known all over the world as a gentleman cricketer. And he lived up to his reputation that day by recalling Bob Taylor. Yes, I think he just checked with the wicketkeeper, and that was Syed Kirmani. He checked with me. I was standing next to him. So it was Kirmani to his left and I was to his right. And he checked whether we thought that the batsman had snicked the ball. And both of us, I think, said we didn't think that Bob Taylor had edged the ball, that the bat had brushed the pad. So he just went and said that, you know, I withdraw the appeal. So full credit to him for taking the decision that he did. I don't think you will find that happening in today's cricket at all. Because people again, when I was talking about change in attitude and approach, today batsmen know that they are out, but they still wait for the umpire to give them out. Bowlers know and the close-in fielders know that sometimes the batsman is not out, yet they appeal. So that has been the change, because their approach is to win at all costs.
Did Team India ever regret the decision?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yes, we went on to lose the match because of that partnership, because there was a partnership at that stage. We were pretty much, going evenly, head to head. But I think that there was a big partnership, and that tilted the game totally in England's favour.
Kerr, you have seen Gavaskar and Sachin play. Both have carried India's expectations on their shoulders for a long time. Your comments?
Starting my writing career in Bombay, I could see both of them in close contact. Some of the best knocks played by him, as well as Sachin Tendulkar from a very small age. So I would say that Gavaskar showed the way, because Sunil, when he played the innings, because we as Indians were feeling proud, because we never thought we could do certain things which he could do. And then Tendulkar carried that legacy and showed that as an Indian you can stand tall and walk with your head high. And now it's the time to look for the next man who is after Sunil, after Tendulkar, and now who is next. We need a person like that to keep our head and keep going and scoring runs and claim to be happy that we are Indians.
Can you narrate some humorous incidents involving Krishnamachari Srikanth and Ravi Shastri?
Well, with Krishnamachari Srikanth, it's a little bit easier because he was one of those, rare characters in the game. He and we would open the batting, and there was one match that we played in Pakistan, and he was hammering this bowler, lofting it over extra cover, lofting him through the covers. And when he was bowled a bouncer, he was hooking it for a boundary. And that bowler was stopping at the end of the follow-through at every such boundary hit and was giving him some real Punjabi galis. So he walked up to me and said, "What is this here? What is this guy doing? This is not the way to play cricket." And then I told him the bowler's name, and I don't want to take it because, KR is a journalist. I don't want to. Anyway, he was known to swear, and he was a Pakistan international, but who was trying to make a comeback to the team. So he was playing in this board president's match. It was not a test match. It was the Pakistan Cricket Board presidents against the touring Indian team. So as soon as he heard the name, Srikanth said, "Ayo, it's him." So the next ball, which was right up there and which he would have otherwise hit for a boundary, because he said "Ayo," he played back, missed it, and was out LBW. So that was a funny thing. But otherwise, in the dressing room, he was always knocking things over. When he walked, he would knock a table, knock a glass, knock everything over. It was just one of those things So we used to call him, because in Hindi, when that happens, it is called Dhadpad. So, and that time, the Western movie Django was very famous. So that's why we nicknamed him in the dressing room Dhadpadango.
What about Shastri?
Shastri was a very serious cricketer, serious-minded cricketer. So really, there are not too many funny instances about him. Shastri, while Srikanth you could see was, just natural talent, totally uninhibited when he played his cricket. Shastri was one who made the best of his limitations. And, he had huge determination and a strong will to succeed. So, completely different personalities.
So that the art of how to play spin, if you have to show a young cricketer, you have to show it to, show this innings. On a tough wicket, the ball turning square, he played that. And another memorable one, I will say, the sandstorm knock by Sachin here, where the bowling of the Australians were, made to look mediocre actually. The art of batting was at its best. But since to name a few, another one, but since I have to select a few, 1985, Rothmans Cup, 125 we were bowled out, and the Pakistan were restricted to 87. Imran Khan took 6 wickets, and here the man sitting next to me took 4 catches in that, and India won the match. And another great one was the 1999 tied semi-final World Cup, South Africa versus Australia, when Alan Donald got run out and Australia made it to the final at Birmingham. And the third one was the 2004 Champions Trophy. Actually, West Indies were 147 for 8. And England was poised to win the first time a big important match. And I had a colleague next to me who wrote the intro because of the deadline here, who was with another newspaper, which I wouldn't mention. He wrote it and said that, told the office here, please fill in 1 by this many runs. And he went away and he went to the station. Fortunately, there was a TV which showed that they were closing the score. And he came back and he had to change the copy. So these are the 3 moments I remember distinctly.
Now I leave it to the audience to ask questions to Sunny and KR. Please identify yourself before you ask the question. Yeah, Rakesh. Dr. Rakesh is the physician at NMC Hospital.
Mr. Gavaskar, we are so happy to have you with us. As everybody here, I'm a huge fan of you as a player as well as a commentator. I've always wondered, when you started your career, there was no fast bowlers for you to practice against. And we had only medium pacers or even military medium pacers. And you became one of the greatest opening batsmen in the world, playing all the fast bowlers. So how did you become such a good opening batsman when you never had good bowlers to practice against? That is one question. And secondly, I just wanted a reflection of 2 great innings played by you. One was, of course, your last innings, which is still considered as the masterpiece of any batsman playing against a spin bowling. And I think one commentator has said that you never used a pad against the spinners, whereas now against this turning pitches, the batsmen use pads more often than the bat. That's one innings which I would like you to reflect. Another thing is, another innings is against the Malcolm Marshall in 1984, 85, I think, or 87, I can't remember, where you started out with 4 and 6, and you scored one of the